She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another day and she solving another case, cause she litigate with dignity and grace. She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another day and she solving another case, cause she litigate with dignity and grace.
Hello, litigators and opinionators. Court is now in session. So, guys, there's been some interesting detail that has been released regarding the tragedy with Shanquella, and it actually confirms what I have been telling you guys. If you guys have been following my channel and you've been subscribed to my channel from the beginning when I was talking about Shanquella, I was one of the first individuals that came out and identified some of the key issues that shed light on the division that was going on in that Cabo villa. And I pointed out the clear indications that, number one, Shanquella was never friends with those girls or the guys in there. There was only one person that she had somewhat of a relationship with, and that was Khalil. That was one thing I pointed out from the beginning. A lot of people kept arguing with me in the comments, trying to say, "Oh no, she's following Winter's mom on Instagram." I'm like, and I follow people all the time on Instagram. Don't mean I'm their friend. Okay, so this indication, there's a witness that has, stated indications as to what they observed when they saw Shanquella interacting with the other girls and everybody in the villa. And one of the things the witness noticed the night before she was brutally beaten to death is that Shanquella did not fit in with the rest of the people there. It was like she was an outcast. And that was something I told you guys from the beginning. If you go all the way back to the beginning of my videos, I was one of the first YouTubers that came out here and told y'all. I was pointing out all the red flags in the different videos. And one of them was, you could see how they just completely isolated this girl, had her sitting at the end of the table. They didn't want to interact with her. They didn't even respond to her. You can hear how loud Shanquella would be, and they would just not even react to her, how she wanted to go skinny dipping with them and they didn't want to go with her, how she was alone looking around in the villa. And they were all, in one room, isolated, didn't want to have anything to do with this girl. It was the whole night of just straight isolation. But now there's a witness that has come out in a written statement saying the same thing that they noticed when they first saw her the night before she was beat to death. So let's hear from the news station who has some details. Also in this report that we're going to hear, the family, actually the attorney for the family of Shanquella, has wrote a letter to the president. So they have wrote a pretty long letter. They have also provided all of the statements they obtained from individuals in Mexico, the autopsy, everything. They sent all of that into like a packet to the President Biden. So President Biden has some pressure on him to do something, to try to put pressure on the applicable authorities. Of course, people will always have to be in the chat and be a little smarty, not a chat, sorry, in the comments, and be a little smarty and say, the president can't do anything, la, 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 la. He is the president of the United States. He has the ability and the influence to speak to the appropriate entities who can actually make significant actions in this case. Not only that, what I'm frustrated with the U.S. about is that they actually have the authority to take jurisdiction, because it was two U.S. citizens who, was a U.S. citizen who attacked another U.S. citizen. So I don't know why the U.S. is twiddling their fingers and twiddling their thumbs, not doing anything about this case. It's actually quite frustrating. I think we need to get a little bit more assertive in our actions, meaning we need to go out in the old-fashioned way of assertive protesting. Assertive protesting. All right, let's play the video, y'all.
Within 4 months since the Charlotte native went on a trip with friends to Cabo, Mexico, she didn't return home alive. Mexican authorities have ruled her death a femicide, or murder. The FBI also investigating her death. But here we are 4 months later, still no arrests in this case, leaving many questions like, how did this happen and who did it? Today, the attorney for Shanquella Robinson's family sent us a copy of a letter The Robinson family and a national activist are now calling on President Biden and Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to personally help to bring justice for Shanquella. The letter to the president also included a packet of Mexican police records that had not been released previously, and an autopsy. There's a copy of it for you right here. We went through it very carefully, and we found there are some key takeaways here for you to understand. First off, this was performed the day after Shanquella was killed. It shows Shanquella died from atlas and medullary dislocation. In simple terms, that's a broken neck and a severe spinal cord injury. The autopsy also found contusions or blunt force trauma to her front region or her head and parts of her pelvis as well. And there were also friction.
Wow, this is a little bit more detailed, y'all. Contusions to her front pelvis and friction burns. Guys, the friction burns make me believe, let me know what you think in the chat. The friction burns make me believe they dragged this girl. Probably even when she had, became unresponsive, they were the one that were dragged. They didn't even pick this girl up. They didn't have enough decency to pick her up when she became unresponsive. After Dejanay allegedly beat this girl to death, they dragged this girl around the villa like they didn't even bother to pick her up. Dragged her all into the living room because that's how those friction burns, in my opinion, came about on her. The injured pelvis. So that's like, wow, there has to be more than just that video, guys. Because when I saw the video, I need to go back and watch the video again. She was hitting a lot of blows to Shanquella's head. It was a lot of blows to her head. So the fact that she has injuries to her pelvis and her chest area and all that, it makes me believe there was more brutal hits after that video went off, guys. I don't think that video contains the entire attack that Shanquella went through, given the additional details that they're giving us. Friction burns, guys, that tells us she was dragged. We have more details about this girl was dragged because we were trying to figure out how she got from the bedroom to the living room because the doctor found her in the living room. And so, when someone goes limp and their whole body is kind of like that dead weight, they probably couldn't pick her up. You got these overgrown, musty men in that house and nobody picked her up. They dragged this girl into the living room. That is just so disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. And the fact that this bully, I feel like Dejanay gives me the vibe of being a complete bully. She's a bully. She knew that Shanquella did not want to fight. She knew that Shanquella could not possibly have ever overpowered Dejanay. You could see how aggressive and how big and how overbearing Dejanay was to this tiny itty bitty little Shanquella. There was no way. So Dejanay comes off as a bully, just disgusting. I wonder how she would behave if she had a big woman her size. She would cower away. She manpowered this woman, which is why so many people had confusion as to what her gender was because of how she handled Shanquella, and it wasn't even necessary. The amount of aggression that she did to this girl was not necessary. Injured to her pelvis, guys. This is more details, and I tell you, the video that we saw, it looked like she was getting a lot of the blows. Shanquella was getting a lot of the blows to her head. So those blows to the pelvis must have happened, in my humble opinion, after that video went off, guys. There's a lot more to this case. Poor girl. Let's keep going.
Burns on her body. In early November, this video showing an alleged fight went viral on social media. Now, we don't know if she sustained those injuries described in the autopsy during this fight, but her family.
Now, I know it was blurred, guys, but if you guys can recall, remember this fight? The hits were more upper body, and you could see where Shanquella was using her arm to kind of try to push a little bit away Dejanay's blows a little bit. But I don't remember seeing any blows to the pelvis, which makes me think there was more attacks after that video went off, guys. This is so horrific.
Family says this is Shanquella in the video. And the FBI in Charlotte tells WBTV they were also sent that video. Now, in the packet of documents they provide by the law firm representing Shanquella's family were those police reports. They interviewed someone who interacted with Shanquella and her friends while in Cabo. Here's our Brandon Hamilton's report.
An employee at the resort Robinson was staying at describes providing assistance to the friends in Robinson inside their Cabo, Mexico villa. That unidentified male employee told investigators the group arrived on the night of October the 28th. He said he met Robinson around dinner time. He added she was the last to the table, quote, seemed not to fit in with the others and was out of place at that party.
Obviously.
Did you guys see that? Why was Shanquella always the last to be in part of anything that whole night? That whole night from when they all were in that room, even Khalil, guys. Khalil was just as involved, man, in my opinion. He knew that those girls were talking mess about Shanquella, and he sat there being an instigator. And from what I hear from other people in the ether, I'm just saying, there's rumors saying that Khalil has a habit of instigating arguments with his pretty women friends. So he has a lot of women friends. You already know he's a little bit on the other side. He played for the other team. I don't think he played for the cheerleaders, if you know what I mean. I think he played for the football players. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's get back to the story. But people have said that have allegedly known him, says that he had a habit in the past of kind of instigating fights with his women friends. So hearing that from people in the community, okay, in the community that claim to know this man, allegedly, all allegedly. If that is really how he is, this to me brings more light to the indications and the opinion that he instigated this whole thing. Because why is it that Shanquella's always the last one to approach everything? Just for example, when she got into the villa, she was the last one to enter that room because everybody was in that one room in the villa while she was all by herself, guys. She's always been an outcast. Number two, the red flag. She was sleeping all by herself while they were all doing their own thing. Number three, she skinny dipped all by herself. None of them wanted to go swim with her. They had all these millions of excuses why they couldn't go with this girl. What number am I on? Whatever. Number five, whatever I'm on. Number five, when she goes to the dinner table, guys, the witness is now saying, he's coming out saying she was the last one to the table. Where was Khalil? Khalil was the same one that invited this girl to the party, this whole villa thing, knowing good and well these girls did not really vibe with her. They were probably jealous of her. Get these catty girls that get insecure of the new girl in the group, basically. And yeah, even Shanquella knew of these people from college. That doesn't mean anything at all. They didn't hang around each other. There's no photos evidencing that they actually hung out before this happened, except for her and Khalil. That's all we can find photos of. And the only video I found of her interacting with one of the girls, and not really even interacting, it was more so not even them. It was the girl that didn't even go to the trip that was supposed to go. Her was the girl trying on Shanquella's outfits from her fashion line, and Shanquella did a video of her trying on the outfits, but that doesn't mean anything. These girls really didn't vibe with her, and Khalil knew it. He instigated it the whole time. He loves the drama. He loves the drama. He's messy like that, in my opinion. That's the observation I get from him. This girl was being outcast all the whole night. I mean, she literally approached the dinner table, the last one. That means they were all in that room, all hanging out while she was all by herself the whole night, that whole night before. And she tried to fit in. She tried to be her happy, rambunctious self, laughing, having fun, and they still rejected this girl, period. And the whole night, they were over there talking mess about her, in my humble opinion. You can just tell, but from the videos, you got to go back to all my old videos we did on this. But the witness here is confirming it when he says, she was the last one to approach the table to celebrate. That's a red flag. He said, noticing in her a strange attitude. See, look at that. Noticing in her a strange attitude. See, I told y'all, and I don't know if y'all was on that video we did, that I was saying Shanquella felt really emotionally drained during this trip because women have this discernment about them. They can feel when something's not right. Shanquella knew that whole time that something wasn't right. She felt like they were talking about her. She felt like an outcast, and she was really deep inside unhappy, but she didn't want to tell her mother that. So when she talked to her mother on the phone, she tried to act like everything was okay when it wasn't. And so what she did to try to, cope with being felt like she was rejected repeatedly, she took that nap because she felt like she had nothing more to do. None of them wanted to engage with her. Khalil wasn't engaging with her. She was all by herself. So she just went and took a nap just to kind of sleep it off and think, maybe this will go away. But she really didn't even want to be there, which is why he said he noticed in her a strange attitude. Then he says she seemed not to fit in with the others. Exactly. Like see, these are people. This was a man that was there. This is a man that was there. And I was telling y'all from the very beginning, that she never fit in with those girls. She never was a part of that group. She was the outcast. As I told y'all before, they were never friends. She was only had somewhat of a relationship with Khalil, and that was the only person. And Khalil was the one that introduced him to these girls. They only knew of her from college, but they didn't hang with her. You can see people on campus. You can say hi and bye. You can maybe even shop on, with their business clothing line like they did with Shanquella. But that don't mean they're her friend. They were jealous of this girl. She had it all. She had the fancy car. She had the fancy clothes. There were friends that talked about her at her funeral that said she had the most expensive car on campus, the most expensive clothes. She was the most best dressed. She was the one that stood out. This girl was class president. She won multiple queen prom titles. This girl was a limelight, a person with those type of accolades, that type of attention, that type of glamour about her, the type of, stand out of having the best of everything, then having two successful businesses. You don't think these girls were jealous? Like, what is this outcast girl coming here to our group? And you have to also understand, she wasn't originally invited to this. They bought their tickets several months, if not to a year, before she got into the picture. The other the person that was supposed to go was the other girl who canceled. So they just invited, Khalil invited Shanquella as the kind of backup person because the real person they wanted to go canceled. That was the only reason why Shanquella came. So you have to understand that none of them wanted her there except for Khalil. And really, Khalil didn't want her there. He just kind of used her as the extra income to pay for that villa. And now we have this witness that's coming out and explaining that, guys. Look at the factors he's saying. Last one to approach the table. That's red flag 1. She noticing her a strange attitude because she didn't want to be there. She felt like she was being rejected constantly. Women know when they're not accepted. She knew that. And she didn't even want to be there anymore. She had to go swimming by herself because they rejected her. She was in her room by herself. They didn't want to be around her. Even the person that's supposed to be her friend that invited her was acting weird. So that extra layer of, this is supposed to be my friend and he's acting weird. They're over there talking mess and he's not even defending me. And he's not even here really showing that he's trying to hang out with me. So yes, she was emotionally drained and she was sad. And she didn't want to tell her mom because she didn't want her mom to worry. So you know what she did? She took a nap. She went and slept it off. Thought, I'll just sleep this off. No one's hanging out with me anyway. After she got into the pool, she came back out. They were still acting real weird. She felt the vibe. She felt like they were talking about her, allegedly. And she went to just go take a nap because nobody was hanging out with her anyway. And then when she wakes up, she's still reliving the same rejection. No one's interacting with her. She's the last one to the table, but she's still trying to play it off, still trying to be her happy self. Nobody even gives her any time of the day. And that strange attitude was her reaction to feeling rejected, not happy there. Like, you know what she was thinking in her mind? She was like, man, I wish I never came to this. I should have never came. I knew I shouldn't have came. Something in me told me not to come. I guarantee you, in my humble opinion, her intuition told her not to come from the beginning. She felt funny inside when Khalil invited her, but because she loves to travel so much, she went for the trip. She's like, hey, it's a trip. I'll go ahead and go because she loves traveling. In fact, when she went to go pick up luggage from her sister's house, her sister said, oh man, I want to go to Cabo. You didn't tell me about a Cabo trip. And Shanquella said, we should go too. Let's go on a Cabo trip. And she was so excited when she said that because she loves to travel. So she took it as an opportunity to travel, but there was something deep in her, back in her mind that was like, something's not right. You shouldn't go on this trip. But she ignored it. She ignored it and she let her desire to travel overpower her, and she went anyway. And so when she was there, she started thinking about that, like, man, I knew I shouldn't have come to this. I knew I should come. Something told me not to come. This wasn't right. But then she wanted to play it off and still feel like she was part of the group. But he even said she seemed to not fit in with the others because they didn't let her fit in. It wasn't that she didn't fit in. They didn't want her there. They didn't like her, and they were being messy, talking mess about this girl the whole entire time. In my humble opinion. This is just my opinion, guys. I wasn't there. I don't know these people. I'm just giving a humble opinion, okay? And then he said, when I introduced myself, she did not greet me or smile. She was indifferent because she was already emotionally drained and sad. That's not her personality to be indifferent and not smile and greet someone. She's known to be bubbly and greet someone. So if she didn't smile and greet him, it was because something was really weighing on her mind and she felt really unhappy with the circumstances there, and she was feeling really rejected. These girls were so mean to her. They give me mean girl vibes. And I know I keep talking about the girls. There were guys there. But my opinion and something in me tells me the girls were leading the drama and the men were just following along. That's what my intuition tells me. My intuition tells me the girls were the problem. They were the one talking mess. Dejanay was the leader of this whole drama that was being incited towards, and the violence being incited towards Shanquella. I feel that it was Dejanay who started and ignited the whole drama. The other girls with the powerful personalities joined along in it. And then the men just followed blindly. They didn't really they were more so indifferent. They could care less either way for Shanquella, but they just followed blindly the women. So it was really, in my humble opinion, the women that were leading this whole drama and anger towards and hatred towards Shanquella. I feel like the men just followed along blindly, like the weak personalities they appear to have, in my humble opinion. And it just, Malik gives me that weak personality vibe too. He follows like a lost puppy, Dejanay. Dejanay is his best friend. She's the godmother of his daughter and everything. He follows every little single thing she does. In fact, the day after Shanquella was brutally beat to death and died, and they flew back home, he posted that reminder post from a year ago on her birthday saying, I'm going to follow you to the end and blah, 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 support you to the end, 100% got your back, blah, blah, blah. And those are not the word for word. I'm just summarizing it, essentially what he kind of said. So it was like, again, Malik gives me that blindly follow the lead type of personality. And I feel like Dejanay was that dominant personality that just had her little insecurities. Oh, I can't stand people like that. But I can feel it in my own opinion that was going on, because I deal with it all the time with these mean girls out here who be hating and jealous for no apparent reason. They be getting on my nerves just because you cute and you look good or you got something going on. You got some little hating girl who's insecure, who is unhappy with her life, who wants to ignite drama, pain, and agony towards you because they're insignificant in their own mind, sadly as it is. So that's why when he introduced himself, she did not greet or smile. It wasn't that she's not a nice person. She was feeling weighed down by the constant rejection that she was experiencing this trip, and she was feeling remorse and regret for even being here. She didn't want to be there anymore. She did not want to be in that trip anymore. In fact, she wanted to go away and get the heck out of that villa, but she didn't know how to figure out a way out. While she was there, though, she wanted to make the best of it. She's okay with trying to cover it up and try to make the best of everything. So what did she do? She put on that smiley face. She was being loud, happy, and smiling and joking to see if maybe somehow, hopefully, these girls would just loosen up. But they never did. They were talking mess about this girl the whole time. They were acting so weird around her. When somebody's talking mess about someone, and so when they're in the group with the person that they talk about, you can feel the energy that they act real awkward around the person. You just know something's up, but you don't know exactly what it is. Well, that's what Shanquella was noticing. So she just, put on her personality, laughing, joking, having fun. But in reality, she was like, I just want to get out of this place. This is not it. These people don't even want me around. This is not how I'm used to when I go on these trips. Usually I'm with my friends and we're having fun. This is not it. But at the same time, she's not the type of person that want to worry her mom. She knew her mom. If she told her mom was going to, in her mind, overreact and be like, girl, you need to get on the next plane, get out of here, blah. Let me talk to Khalil, So Shanquella didn't want to bring her mom in it. So she was like, when I talk to my mom, I'm going to play it cool. I'm not going to tell her because I don't want her to worry. I'm thousands of miles away. I don't want my mom to be tripping. So I'm going to just play it cool. That's why she didn't tell her mom. Because people will say, well, how come she told her mom she was good? Because a lot of times children, and I know she's not a child, she's an adult, but children will, children. Okay. Even though she's adult, I'm just saying parents see their kids as their children, no matter how old they are. Okay. So I'm just saying children will not tell their parents everything because they don't want their parents to worry. They don't want their parents to overreact. So they will cover up what's really going on and they will make it sound as though everything is okay. And that's what I feel Shanquella did. But in reality, this girl knew that these people did not like her and that she was the outcast. She felt something was wrong. And in fact, she felt betrayed by Khalil because she saw that Khalil was going along with it. You see how he was in the room with them the whole time when she was by herself. And that's probably why she recorded that video of when she was all by herself recording the video saying, where are they? Where are you guys at? Da, 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 da. And how she was joking with them saying, the hoe said, blah, 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 blah. She was trying to do that to lighten up the situation. She thought, well, if I joke and make them laugh, maybe they'll like me. And that didn't work. It made them more and more aggravated. They were more irritated by her joking around and calling them names and stuff because they felt like she didn't have the type of relationship with them to be calling them those names or to be making those jokes. So then they got more aggravated. And Dejanay was like, who does she think she is? Coming over here calling me H.O. She's not my friend like that. We're not cool like that. And how dare her try to make fun of how I'm doing these exercises? I'm going to beat her, blah, 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 blah. That's what I feel how it went down, in my opinion. I feel that's how it went down. I feel like it escalated after that game because a lot of the stuff wasn't videotaped, but I humbly feel there was some jokes said on Shanquella's end, again, trying to loosen up and trying to lighten up the environment because these people were acting too, weird and talking mess in her opinion and just rejecting her. And she thought that if she could just be her funny, happy, outgoing self, maybe they'll just loosen up. And it wasn't working. It was making them more and more angry because in their mind, they already were jealous of this girl. And when someone's jealous of someone, it doesn't matter what you do. They're going to hate you more and more and more and more. And the more confident you display yourself as, or the more you joke and have fun, the more they're going to hate you. And that's what it feels like Dejanay did. And she was getting more and more angry throughout the night. And it kept boiling up until her jealousy and her anger consumed that woman. And she exploded on that girl with all the anger inside of her. In my opinion, it reminds me of the Cain and Abel story. I know they were brothers, but it reminds me of that story so much because that's kind of similar the jealousy he had for his brother. It boiled up inside. He couldn't stand that boy. And he was so angry, he beat that boy to death in the Cain and Abel story. And that's what I think of when I think of Dejanay. Even though they're not siblings, it was the same form of hatred that just kept building up and boiling over overnight. And the more happy and outgoing and how much Shanquella spoke and how she joked around she was and how free-spirited she was and just how beautiful everything that she was and who she was, it made this woman more angry and aggravated. And then the others were just kind of her parrots like, yeah, girl, yeah, she is doing that. Yeah, she getting on my nerves too. Yeah, girl, yeah, you should beat her up. She doing too much. Yeah, I would beat her up, girl, but she over here talking all that mess. Did you hear what she said about you at that game, girl? No, she did not. And how dare she call you a H.O.? She don't know you. She don't know us. She thinks she's doing too much. Girl, you need to handle that. That's how I just picture it in my mind of how it went down in that room when they were talking and pumping this girl, Dejanay, up to go ahead and handle this. In my opinion, these people are just so sick. But let's keep reading this, y'all. I'm getting so flustered in this thing. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting out of control. But I just can't take how they treated this girl because I can't stand the spirit of jealousy. That spirit is very evil. It's very vile. And if you sense somebody is jealous, you need to flee. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're on a Cabo trip. I don't care if you are in Hawaii. I don't care if you are in Africa. If you sense the spirit of jealousy on somebody, you need to get out of there now. Because that spirit is a very evil, vile spirit, and it will cause people to do some very evil things. That is why God talks about the Bible and Cain and Abel, because he wanted to demonstrate how powerful and all-consuming and how evil and violent the spirit of jealousy can be upon a person. And that is what I feel happened to Shanquella in this case. Because look at this witness. He saw it all before it happened. This happened the night before at the taco bar, y'all. Nothing to do. And he said, she did not greet me or smile. She was indifferent, nothing to do with the atmosphere of celebration. Yeah, because it wasn't a celebration. And that's what I told you guys when we talked about this video. Remember, I told y'all before, I said, when we watched this video, I said, it didn't look like a celebration. When you are on a trip, and we did the compare and contrast. We compared one video where we saw these mean girls on another trip, and they were laughing, popping, twerking in the pool and everything, having fun. But then I compared it to the trip with Shanquella, and it looked like a straight funeral. Nobody was smiling. Nobody was laughing. Nobody was dancing. Everybody had this somber, mean girl attitude, except for Shanquella. So imagine being rejected after rejected after rejected after rejected to the point where you get emotionally exhausted and you feel like you have nothing more to do but to go to sleep and sleep it off. And then when you wake up, now you're just drained. So yes, when you encounter this witness here, you don't greet him and you don't smile because you don't feel like you're in an atmosphere of celebration because you constantly keep being rejected. And that's what I feel happened to this girl. And they said she was out of place at that party. She was out of place at that party. This is a witness, y'all, right here. He's telling you what he saw and what we saw when we watched those videos. We didn't even have to be there to see what he saw face to face when he encountered Shanquella the last night of her life. That is so sad and just so tragic that this girl, the last night of her life, she had to experience being betrayed by the person she loved, Khalil. She loved that dude like it was a best friend of her, and he betrayed her. He was her Judas. He was her Judas. That's what he was. Sitting there smiling in this girl's face, enjoying the drama. He loves drama. He's very messy, in my opinion. And he was in that room with those other girls talking mess, or not even talking mess, more so pumping it up the mess. Like, like pumping up your friend. If someone's talking something like, your friend saying something, you're like, yeah, girl, that's right. Yes, girl. Yes, say it. That's the type of vibe I get from Khalil. As Dejanay's talking her mess, Khalil's like, yep, girl, yeah, she was being loud, though. You are right, Dejanay. She was doing too much. Yeah, she is way too loud. Yeah, I'll be trying to tell her to calm it down, too. That's true. That's the type of vibe I'm getting from Khalil. He didn't even defend this girl. He never stood up to defend her. He knew it was wrong seeing this girl get beat to death, and he did nothing. Because he's not even her friend. He is her Judas. That's what he is. Let's keep playing. Sorry, y'all. I got out of control because this thing took me out. This thing brought me back into my feelings again. It brought me back to when I first heard this case, when I heard from this witness here and what he said and how she felt, out of place and didn't fit in. And it was a very somber experience. It wasn't a celebration when it was supposed to be. Guys, that took me completely out.
Party.
Obviously, Shanquella was attacked by someone in the group, one of the travel mates. So the employee describing their interaction lets me know that the environment that she was in for her last moments wasn't a positive one.
The next day, October the 29th, as we've reported, Robinson was found dead. According to the transcript, the resort employee received a text from the main guest asking about medical service and added that Robinson had alcohol poisoning. The employee later learned Robinson had died. In the initial death certificate provided by her family, a spinal cord injury was listed as the cause of death. In the hours after her death, again, according to the transcript, the group requested a driver to go to dinner. They would never come back to the villa. After seeing this viral video, the employee in the transcript said, quote, I realized that practically the main guest had manipulated me with the information she provided.
Wow, look at this, guys. We're getting extra tea. We didn't hear this before. Now, we were speculating that they lied, but here, this guy is saying it right here. He says the main guest manipulated him with the information she provided of what happened to leave the country as soon as possible. And these were the authorities involved. So the authorities who interviewed these individuals lied to the police, lied to the government officials, whoever was there, and made it sound like they really were insisting it was alcohol poisoning. That's what this saying is saying. Main guest hitting her friend, the guest who died. When I saw the video in social media, I realized that practically the main guest had manipulated me with the information she provided of what happened to leave the country as soon as possible. So they lied to the authorities. That is a crime, which is why I don't understand why they too are not being extradited, or why the Mexican officials did not send a request to extradite them too, because this witness is saying he felt manipulated, meaning he was lied to, that, Shanquella was so drunk and out of it. And that's why they just left the country, because they didn't know if it was a crime. They thought she was intoxicated. They thought she died really of alcohol poisoning, because these Cabo 6, they said the main guest. Now, who was the main guest? I don't know who that main guest was. Y'all gonna have to let me know who y'all think that is. Manipulated me with the information she provided of what happened. So that means it's one of the three women. It's either Dejanay, Winter Donovan, or Elise. Y'all let me know in the chat who y'all think it was, but one of those three, because he says a woman told him a lie, manipulated him, lied to him, told him information. This is one of the government officials. I think it was a police officer, one of them that was supposed to determine. Let me play this again. I'm going to have to rewind it. Determine whether what was going on, and they lied to them, telling them, "Oh yeah, it was just alcohol," so that they can get out of that country as soon as possible. They left that place. So that's a consciousness of guilt. They are demonstrating their guilt by the behavior that they did. Let's rewind this a little bit back again.
That practically the main guest had manipulated me with the information back to the villa. After seeing this viral video, the employee in the transcript said, quote, "I realized that practically the main guest had manipulated me with the information she provided of what happened to leave the country as soon as possible."
Okay, so he indicates it was an employee. Okay, so they talked to an employee and manipulated. So one of these little fake women, which is why I told you guys, they said she. You guys have to understand the whole dynamics in these friendships. The women were leading this whole thing. That's why you notice when I talk about this case, I always say the women, because the men were just blind followers. They were just extras, in my opinion. They weren't really direct, like emotionally had a direct hatred towards Shanquella. It was like they were following blindly along, making them just as guilty as the rest of them. But the ones that were leading this whole situation were the women, and in particular, Dejanay was the head honcho of this whole hate crime, in my opinion. This whole hate crime campaign against Shanquella. And the other women, they let their dominant personality go ahead and take way and give their input. But I feel like it was Dejanay leading the whole pack, Winter second in the command, Elise, and then the two men blindly follow. And now Lazir, I don't know where he came into play, y'all. Y'all gonna have to put him in the equation, how y'all want to put him in there. But he was involved too in the whole lie too, in my opinion, because his story don't make any sense at all. Whether he came later or whatever he came, he's still, in my opinion, I don't really, I'm still side-eyeing him for so many reasons. I have my reasons for that, but. Here, this sentence is very monumental. They manipulated me with the information she provided. Like I said, the women were the head honchos in this case. They were leading the pack. They were involved in this whole thing for why this girl was beat to death, because of their insecurities. And really, Dejanay was the one that had the main insecurity and the main hatred towards Shanquella. And the other ones just went ahead and followed along and was just egging this girl on the whole night, in my opinion, behind closed doors. But and the thing is, Shanquella felt that vibe that whole night. She knew what was going on. But she thought being her happy, bubbly self, joking around, being loud, would loosen up the environment, but it never did. And these people went ahead and manipulated and lied their way out of Mexico, y'all. Lied their way and probably paid their way, because you know how corrupt Mexico is. And I just cannot find any other reasonable explanation for how the police officers let these people go without them getting paid something. I feel they put some big dollars on them police officers. I don't know how to explain it, because we're looking at a lot of these Mexico cases and the cops are pretty corrupt. I don't see how these cops would have just let them slide without getting some type of paycheck, something. Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all don't think so, but based on the different stories we're hearing about these police in Mexico, I feel like, yes, they manipulated. Yes. And I do feel like there was an underlying motive from the owner of the villa and other people involved that they did not want any type of, conspiracies going on up there at Cabo, because of course they want to keep the money flowing, the tourist money flowing. But at the same time, the cops really wanted to get paid by these Americans. So something in me tell me there's some money was exchanged. That's what I just feel. Y'all let me know what you think, though. Let me know what you think.
And our Brandon Hamilton joins us here in studio with more on this. I know you've been following this story very, very closely, really more than anybody else reporting on this. What stood out to you most? What did you learn from these documents today?
Yeah, when you're reading the documents, what stood out was that interview from the employee that worked at that villa where they stayed at. He talked about when those guests arrived. He talked about when they got there, how Shanquella was. So from reading that, he said that she seemed like she didn't fit in. So that leads you to think what happened in those hours to make her standoffish, because you would think if you went on a trip with someone,
with friends,
to another
right?
country, you would also be happy and be more juvenile in your expressions of wanting to be there. So that stood out for me, just the fact that he says she didn't seem like she wanted to be there.
Interesting. What is the Robinson family hoping the Biden administration can do at this point?
Yep. So
She didn't seem like she wanted to be there. Shanquella wanted to get on the first flight out of that place. And there was something that really caught my attention when Shanquella's sister, when she spoke at the news conference that they had recently. And one of the comments Shanquella said was that her sister might have even wanted to try to plan to leave that trip early because she wasn't feeling happy being there. And who knows? What if Shanquella told, Khalil or somebody that, she was ready to leave and, just go ahead and get her money back for the room. And maybe that tipped everything over the edge, because this was a boiling point for Dejanay. Dejanay said when she was beating Shanquella, she said, "I'm tired of your SHIT." So that's what I was telling you. I feel as though Dejanay already started with jealousy from the get-go. She didn't want Shanquella there. But every little thing that Shanquella did, it was like Dejanay was irritated with it. And she was boiling inside with anger against Shanquella. And it just kept boiling each little thing. I'm telling you, Shanquella did. It didn't matter what Shanquella did. Shanquella could laugh really loud. Dejanay was irritated. Shanquella could make a joke. Dejanay would get more irritated. Shanquella would say, "Oh, hey, you're not exercising right." Dejanay get more angry. Or she said, "Oh, the host said this." Oh, Dejanay gets more angry. Every little thing until there's something that happened that tipped it over the edge, and Dejanay lost it with her own insecurities and blew up and lost her rationality. Because those words that she said was very telling when she said, "I'm tired of your SHIT." Shanquella probably said, "You know what? I want to leave. I want to get my money back for this trip. This is not working out. I don't feel like I'm a part of the group." Maybe even, made a comment to Khalil, and Khalil with his messy self went back and told Dejanay. Who knows? He messy. He's like the type of guy that likes to gossip. He act like a female in a way to me, the way he acts. A lot of times women, we like to gossip. Y'all know we like to gossip and talk our little mess. Y'all know. Come on now. Be truthful in the chat. Don't be trying to act holier than thou. We like to talk our little mess. So I just feel like Khalil sometimes gives me that type of aura about him. He's messy. Like he kind of plays both sides. So I feel like maybe she confided in him, was saying she was not happy there, was ready to leave. And these are just theories, guys. I don't know what happened. None of us know what happened. Okay. But I'm just giving a theory. I'm just trying to think of, because that witness, when he came out with all them details about her looking like she didn't want to be there and how she wasn't smiling and how she was the last one to the table and how he tried to greet her, but she didn't even look at him and just wasn't smiling and was indifferent and didn't fit in with them. It just makes me think something must have happened where she was just like told Khalil she didn't want to be there anymore. She was ready to leave, or just maybe just maybe you reimburse me my room or whatever. And that probably could have tipped somebody off. Like, oh no, she didn't. How you gonna come on the trip and pay for all this? And now you want to leave? Okay. And then that's when she starts punching her. Like, I just feel like something happened, y'all. And maybe Khalil might be a big focal part in this, meaning he probably went back and told those girls whatever Shanquella might have confided in him about. So maybe she said something like she didn't feel happy there, or she didn't like how the girls were acting towards her, or whatever. And Khalil, with his messy self, went right back over there into the room, being messy. In my humble opinion, this is just opinion, and more opinions, y'all. Okay, y'all know we are the opinionators slash litigators, so y'all know you're gonna get opinions over here. Okay, but anywho, I feel like Khalil went back in that room, told Dejanay what Shanquella said, and it was the final straw for this weak-minded, insecure woman who hates herself and so fragile in her ego. Because this woman, Shanquella, just intimidated her by her beauty, by her class, by her success, by the fact that she just kept winning and winning and winning in life. From being class president to being prom queen to having the best car, having the best thriving businesses, to having just everything going so well for her, while Dejanay felt intimidated by that. That's what I feel, because the witness says she looked like she didn't want to be there. Guys, this is so monumental. Because a lot of people kept saying, oh, well, she sound happy in the videos. Y'all need to stop trying to take things for, face value. If you do that, you're never going to really understand these cases, because things aren't always as they seem. You have to look deeper into things than just how a person's acting, how they're talking, what they tweet, what they post on Facebook. That stuff is not real. You got to look at what's behind the surface of those pictures, okay? Because that's how you get to see what's really going on. And the way Shanquella was acting when these people were constantly rejecting her tells me that she was trying so hard to get these people to loosen up, and hoping that maybe, her happy personality would make them put down their guard and just, interact with her. But nothing she did worked. In fact, it made it worse. It made them more aggravated. And in particular, it made Dejanay more aggravated. So that's the tragedy, I think. But let's keep going. They're going to talk about the White House, what they think about these letters and how it's going to, they think it's going to do anything. We'll see.
They've been calling on this diplomatic intervention, which essentially is terms of having the president or someone of top authority in our federal government get involved by saying and doing to speed up the investigation process. And by speeding that up, the attorneys, they've been saying this when they went to DC earlier this month, and also in the letter, they want either the United States government to either extradite that one person that Mexico has said is direct aggressor. They want that one person extradited back to Mexico, or to have the United States government take over the investigation and prosecute the person or persons in the U.S. And they want it done swiftly.
But bottom line, the FBI really not saying a whole lot, just that they're investigating, right? All right, our Brandon Hamill's been on top of this story. He will continue to do so. Brandon, thanks for stopping by.
Guys, what makes this so tragic is at the beginning of this, when this first unfolded, the family said they wanted all Cabo 6 to be extradited. But notice how, because it's been 5 months and it keeps delaying, they have gotten to a point of desperation. And now they have lowered their standards. And they're like, we just want the one person that was on the freaking form to be extradited. We don't even care. We just want somebody to pay. That's when you know the authorities are dropping the ball. When you have the family saying, we don't care. We just want the person that is on the freaking that has been requested to be extradited. We want that person to be extradited, because that's not really what they want. What they really want is all Cabo 6 to pay. They want every last one of them to go be extradited. But the fact that they have changed the standards really demonstrates to me that the family has reached a point of desperation and exhaustion because of the constant delay, that they were willing to take any little breadcrumbs of justice just to get some form of justice. And that to me is very sad. It's very sad that we have to get to this point where we're begging and pleading with our government officials to do their job for every American citizen. not simply because the color of your skin makes you more superior to another human being. It's so sad. That makes me so heartbroken that this family literally had to basically, minimize the value of justice that they truly want. And what they really want in this is they want all of the Cabo Six to be arrested. They want every last one of them. But they're willing to take whatever now. And that's so sad, guys. So sad. Do you guys think Biden will actually do something? Is he, because he's been quite mighty silent about this. He hasn't said a word, and I find that very annoying too, because they just did, Ben Crump and the other amazing attorney in this just did an incredible press conference. And I haven't heard a peep, a squeak, or a tootleet from Biden. Where is he? How come he hasn't responded? How come he hasn't said anything when these two amazing attorneys, like this young lady here, she is doing amazing things, guys. I got to do another live because people had been coming for the Shanquella family for so long. But it turns out that actually, guys, let me keep some tea. It turns out that Ben Crump and Sue Ann Robinson have been representing the family for several months, way before we knew about it. Sue Ann Robinson works, she has her own law firm, but she also works as co-counsel with Ben Crump in his law firm. So she takes on cases in his office. Basically, he passes on, and she takes on cases. She might lead some cases, and they both work as co-counsel on cases. And about 2 months ago, she did an interview on a podcast that we're going to actually go over when I get time. I'm going to try to do the video sometime this week or maybe next week. We're going to go over it, guys. She did an interview 2 months ago talking about her representation of the family. She had gone to Mexico 2 months ago, way before the press conference that we heard. And she was already there doing all the work there in the investigations. And she also debunked a lot of the fake rumors that were going on in this podcast. I was so shocked because the podcast didn't get much views. It only got about 1,000 views. But it was crazy that she was already here representing, and Ben Crump was already representing the family because she works in his law firm. But she was the one that was the head honcho in the case, and she had been working under the wraps, basically, in Mexico. That's why they hadn't come out with any press conferences this whole time, because she was in Mexico gathering the evidence that whole time while people were in their little YouTubes talking about, what is the family doing with the GoFundMe money? They need to get an attorney. They had an attorney the whole time. Ben Crump and Sue Ann have been representing them for several months, but they didn't come out with a press conference because he had sent Sue Ann to Mexico to gather all the evidence. And that's where she was doing the investigation over there to gather her evidence. And she also interviewed all those witnesses. She was the one that got the witness that we just heard from. That was from her when she went to Mexico. She's talked to him, got that written statement from him, and got all the information about her not fitting in with the group and so forth. She got those details. And then she went and talked to the attorney general and so forth. So that's why they didn't come out. But the whole time when people were talking mess, Ben Crump had been on this case. They've been retained him several months ago. So that should teach people a lesson to stop coming for people's families when you don't know what's going on. Just because you don't see something happening in public doesn't mean people aren't, doing what they're supposed to do. Just victimizing this family when the whole time they had Sue Ann and Ben Crump on the case the whole time. I just find it quite interesting, though, that she did this interview 2 months ago talking about the case and how she went to Mexico and so forth. But that video did not get much views. I was like, wow, it only got 1,000 views. And on that video, she had been debunking a lot of the fake rumors out there because, we were hearing so many rumors. One of the rumors she debunked was that Shanquella brought, I guess, 10,000 or I don't know. Remember, people were saying that she had brought thousands of dollars with her on this trip. And Sue Ann, on this interview, debunked that rumor, saying, that if that was really the case, then it would have been reported. And there was no indication that she had brought a large amount of money. And it's a bunch of other rumors that Sue Ann had debunked on this interview. So, it comes to show Sue Ann and Ben Crump actually been on this case for several months. They work hand in hand in an office with Ben Crump, and she has her own law firm, but she also co-counseled with him, because how they actually met was she met Ben Crump through the Trayvon Martin case. When Ben Crump got his name when he represented Trayvon Martin. That's when he kind of came out into the limelight. People started noticing who he was when he took on the Trayvon Martin case. That's when we were introduced to who Ben Crump was. Now, during that time frame, Sue Ann saw when he first started representing Trayvon Martin, and she assisted him. She gathered all the other, Black attorneys in the community. She was president of, I guess, the Black Law Associations back in Florida. And so she got all those lawyers together to help support Ben Crump. And that's how they formed a relationship, a co-counsel business relationship. And he kind of had her come over to his law firm to help him with the civil rights cases. And that's how they formulated their professional relationship. Okay, professional. All right. So she helps him with and co-counsels his civil rights cases and his law firm. And he has a bunch of people working, other attorneys working in his law firm to co-counsel, because, he's got people around the country wanting him as an attorney. And I'm tired of people. Oh, my gosh, I can't understand how people think that an attorney has to work for free. This man is an attorney. This is his job. Of course, he's going to get paid. And because his name is so well known and he's known as being a rock star for the civil rights movement, a lot of people ask to retain him. So that's why you see him all over the place in all these cases, because they know he's good and he gets results. And yes, does he get paid? Yes, it's his job. What do you want him to do? Sleep in the back of a freaking tent somewhere and be homeless and not get paid? Like, what do you, like, some of y'all out here, and none of the people in my chat, none of y'all, but I'm saying some people who talk mess about Ben Crump getting paid for what he does. He's an attorney. What do you expect? He does a lot of litigation. He files cases. He does the depositions. He does all the legal litigation for these people, which is why he's entitled to a paycheck. Come on now. And all of his clients aren't complaining. They understand that. It's just the outsiders who think that he's supposed to sit here and work for free. I don't understand people sometimes, y'all in the chat. Y'all help me out. Some of these people out here in the general ether world of society have to feel like lawyers, Black lawyers, have to work for free and live in the back of a shed somewhere and not get paid, or else we're chasing, we're exploiting people. No, we don't practice law for charity. No, it's a job. Okay. I'm sorry, I got to come for bat for Ben Crump, because I think Ben Crump is doing an incredible job. This man has been going to bat for this case. He had Sue Ann on the case from the get-go, okay? The whole time the people was talking mess for the last 2 months, if not more. Actually, probably even prior to 2 months. The interview that she did was 2 months ago. But she had been representing them way before that, because she, during that interview 2 months ago, she talked about already had come back from Mexico. So in my opinion, it had to have been more than 3 months, if not more, probably back from the very beginning, I think, in my opinion, because she went on that Mexico trip. Then 2 months ago, she does an interview talking about her results on that interview, or that she was in the process of the whole Mexico trip and so forth, and trying to gather the results of that. And they were doing their investigation on everything. And she was talking about how humble the family was. And, they didn't want to do anything aggressive, which is why they didn't do much press conferences in the beginning. People will say, well, how come they didn't do press conference before? Well, because the family wanted to believe in faith that the FBI was going to do their job. Shanquella's family really wanted to have faith. You heard them when they were doing interviews. For example, the father, when reporters would ask the father, what do you think about, the FBI? He would say, you know what? I'm not going to talk on the FBI. I'm going to trust God. God's going to vindicate me. I'm going to let the FBI do their job. That was the same stance that the mother took. So, of course, the attorneys, they have to listen to their clients. So at that time, they were doing their investigation. They were in Mexico gathering all the information. And I think that's pretty incredible that she flew all the way to Mexico to really, really do her own due diligence. What a incredible attorney Sue Ann is, okay? I don't see many attorneys going that far to travel out of the country unless they're going to ask for some serious bank. I mean, serious dollars. And I don't even know what she asked for or whatever, how she did that. But it sounds like she really has her heart in this thing. So who knows? Because it would have exceeded that $500,000. All the work she had to do, the legal aspect of it, doing all that. Because attorneys as it is per hour is very expensive. Sometimes it could be up to the 300 something per hour. So with that being said, it would have drained out that 500,000 in the GoFundMe. So I'm pretty sure Sue Ann is not really asking, and Ben Crump's not asking for the full amounts that they really are entitled, because that little GoFundMe would have been drained with all them hours that Miss Sue Ann spent in Mexico doing all that work, especially having an attorney do that. I would rather have an investigator do that, because I don't think an investigator is going to be as expensive as an attorney doing all that work. So I'm speculating that I think these attorneys aren't really getting paid their full amount that they're owed, because that little $500,000 ain't gonna cut it. Not gonna cut it. Not with her traveling out the country doing all that labor that she did. This woman's amazing. Okay, I just got to say, they have a very strong backing in their team, and I just got to warn people: y'all talk so much mess about this family. Not y'all in the chat. I'm just talking about people out there who talk mess about the family. But the whole time, this family was doing the right thing with the GoFundMe money. They were using it to investigate the case. They had investigators. They had their attorney out there in Mexico gathering information. They were doing everything right. Everything right. They judged this family about having name brand clothes, when it's not a crime for a Black American to have a name brand purse, okay? Or a name brand outfit or some shoes. Come on now. Come on now. They've been had that stuff way before Shanquella passed away, based on the video I did about this, y'all. All right, y'all. I didn't talk y'all ears off. Let me see. There's another video about this. Let me see. It might be a little redundant. Let's play it and see what it's about. They did another video a couple hours later, so let's check it out. It sounds like it might be the same, but we'll just check it out anyway.
Charlotte native Shanquella Robinson. Robinson died in Cabo, Mexico last October. On First at 4, we showed you a letter sent to the White House calling on President Joe Biden and other top federal officials to request, quote, immediate diplomatic intervention from the U.S. government. The push for answers you also saw earlier this month as Robinson's family, attorney, and national activists rallied in Washington, D.C. Mexican authorities say they have identified one as a, quote, direct aggressor in Robinson's death. And on the U.S. side, the FBI's investigation is ongoing.
Yeah, new here at 6 o'clock, we are learning more about what happened the night of October 29th, the day Robinson was found dead. WBTV's Brandon Hamilton joins us here in studio. Brandon, you've been looking at these documents today. We know there's a lot of new information in those. What can you tell us?
Well, Jamie and Molly, the law firm representing the family of Shanquella Robinson, provided these documents. And for the first time, we're hearing from an employee describing the moment he saw the group. Now, I do want to add you that and the information that you're about to see, according to the attorneys, is a translation from Mexican documents that were in Spanish to English. What happened to Shanquella Robinson? Solving that question is central to the push for top federal officials to get involved, says family attorney Sue Ann Robinson.
You don't want to leave any room for the administration to say we didn't know about the case, we didn't have the details, we didn't understand what the family's ask is. And because we need a high level of diplomatic intervention, we sent the correspondence to the highest diplomats in our country.
In documents released by the law firm on Tuesday is an interview conducted by investigators in Mexico. An employee at the resort Robinson was staying at describes providing assistance to the friends in Robinson inside their Cabo, Mexico villa. That unidentified male employee.
So one of the key things I missed from the other video was that he says it was an interview from the investigators. So that tells me that Sue Ann didn't go there by herself. She went there with a team of people. She had investigators ask some of those witnesses, because you remember she talked about the press conference that she went to the villa. She saw all that. She went to the doctor. She went to the attorney general. She went everywhere, y'all. She went to every place that Shanquella might have touched. That she went there and went to the attorney general. So they said the investigators interview. So that tells me they also hired an investigator. So that GoFundMe money is going to the right places, y'all. They really are utilizing the resources that people have blessed them with and blessed their hearts for donating to really, investigate this case. And we, of course, want to thank all those people who donated to the GoFundMe, because they have made all this possible for them to have a team of investigators go there to question the witnesses. I mean, if anything, Sue-Ann and the investigators are doing a way better job than the Mexican officials that initially, looked into the case. Sue-Ann's team is doing a way better job. They got full statements. They got all kinds of stuff way better than what the Mexican officials even did, because you could tell they barely even questioned the Cabo Six. Barely even got a little question in, okay? Because they let them go so fast you couldn't see straight that was back in America. Okay? Like lightning, they was back in America. Couldn't even think straight. They was back into the US of A. Okay. So I just want to say that I had to really point this out. And I know I'm taking time talking about the GoFundMe and stuff, because I just want to emphasize the family were doing the right thing. They're using the resources to truly get justice for this young lady. And I got to applaud them for that.
Employee told investigators the group arrived on the night of October the 28th. He said he met Robinson around dinner time. He added she was the last to the table, quote, seemed not to fit in with the others and was out of place at that party.
Obviously, Shanquella was attacked by someone in the group, one of the travel mates. So the employee describing their interaction lets me know that the environment that she was in for her last moments wasn't a positive one.
The next day, October the 29th, as we've reported, Robinson was found dead. According to the transcript, the resort employee received a text from the main guest asking about medical service and added that Robinson had alcohol poisoning. Employee later learned Robinson had died. In the initial death certificate provided by her family, a spinal cord injury was listed as the cause of death. Provided by her family, added that Robinson had alcohol.
Look at this statement right here. This statement is an assertive lie right here. She answered, yes, I think my friend has alcohol poisoning and needs emergency service and someone to speak or translate in English or Spanish for us. I offered to send her a doctor so he could determine. So one of those fake women, I told you they were leading this whole pack here, lied to the employee there and made that story up to the employee saying that their friend has alcohol poisoning. That is just straight trash. And then wanted to try to have those employees be the accessory to this crime by having them translate this lie to the doctor and the police officer. Because they're saying someone to speak or translate in Spanish for us. Yeah, to translate your lie. Basically making them an accessory without them even knowing that they're assisting these liars and communicating with the officers and the doctor. Wow. And he's clearly saying the gender. So now we can basically mitigate who was the one that was the lead in lying in this. Like I said, the women were the leaders. So one of those three women were the assertive one that lied about this whole alcohol poisoning thing. And you have to also know the background, which is why we took our time going over the background of each of these people, because these women, some of them have medical backgrounds. Think about the people who have the medical backgrounds, which is what makes me believe why they made up this lie about alcohol poisoning, because they know how alcohol can affect the body given their medical experience. We know that allegedly Elise has that medical background, and Dejanay has a medical background, and Winter knows of some type, her also has some medical experience. So one of these women was the one that facilitated and led this lie. And like I keep telling y'all, my humble opinion, I feel like the men just blindly followed the pack. Like, Khalil followed along with the lie when he called up Shanquella's mother because he is a little lost puppy that can't make any decisions. He just follows every little thing the strong, dominant women's personality in that group did. He just fell along with the lie, which is why I think one of those women made up the lie based upon their prior medical background. In my humble opinion, they try to think of what could be more logical to make up some story for why this girl was unresponsive. And this witness here is telling it all by saying she answered, yes, I think my friend has alcohol poisoning and needs emergency service. And someone to basically communicate the lie we're saying in Spanish. Oh, wow. Wow. I didn't heard it all, y'all. I didn't heard it all.
Alcohol poisoning. Employee later learned Robinson had died. In the initial death certificate provided by her family, a spinal cord injury was listed as the cause of death. In the hours after her death, again, according to the transcript, the group requested a driver to go to dinner. They would never come back to the villa. After seeing this viral video, the employee driver to go to dinner. They would never come death. In the hours after her death, again, according to the transcript, the group requested a driver to go to dinner.
Did you guys hear that? After Shanquella was pronounced deceased, they requested a driver to go to dinner. Can you? Wow. Wow, guys, we're getting so much tea. I didn't even realize that detail. I had to rewind it. After Shanquella was pronounced dead, y'all, they lied and asked for a driver to go to dinner when that's not where they were going. They packed up all their bags after Shanquella was pronounced dead. They lied and acted like they were trying to get a driver to go to dinner to try to make it sound like they were innocent. And they took their butt to the next hotel near that airport and got the heck out of Dodge. But can you believe it? These little liars sat there. One of the women facilitated this lie about the alcohol and then had the nerve to ask for a driver to go to dinner to cover up and make it sound like they were just innocent, like nothing ever happened. Oh, let's just go to dinner. Yeah, she's dead. We're going to go eat now. Are you serious? Who does that? Who does that? If my friend was pronounced dead on my watch, there is no way I would be thinking about food, period. I wouldn't even be thinking about anything else but my friend. You wouldn't be trying to tell. I wouldn't right after the person's wheeled off into the ambulance in a black bag. You know, they just basically zip you up into the body bag. You wouldn't be seeing me talk about take me to a freaking dinner. Are you serious? I can't believe that, guys. I didn't even know that part. I played this video, didn't even know that was in there. I was like, wait, hold up. Did I hear what I heard? I thought I heard. Ask for a driver to take them to dinner. I don't even think they really wanted a driver for dinner. They lied. They just wanted someone to drive them out of that villa to get the heck out of Dodge. And they were trying to cover up their tracks. And then they want to make it look like they were trying to escape to get the heck out of there because they didn't want to get arrested in Mexico. And that's why I feel like Nazir knows what's going on. There's no way, in my opinion, he's trying to act all innocent. How did he not know something was wrong when they packed up all their bags, lying, talking about a driver to go to dinner, and he didn't know something was wrong at that point? You mean to tell me you were acting dumb that whole time when your friends are acting weird after your friend was zipped up in a black body bag, thrown in the back of an ambulance, and thrown and taken to a morgue? You didn't know anything? I would have been asking questions like, why are we asking for a driver to go to dinner when our friend is dead? Like, this doesn't even feel right. And then why are we going to a hotel now near the airport? And why are we leaving? Or shouldn't we be staying here? I would have been asking those many questions. I'd be like, wait a minute, shouldn't we be calling the parents? We should stay here with the body, maybe with our friend, and we should try to help facilitate communications with the morgue here and try to get the body back, because if we're here, we can help the family. No, Nazir said nothing. He didn't ask any questions. He just went there just like a bimbo. That's why I told you guys, I feel like the women from the get-go were the leader. Dejanay was the head of the honcho, the lead pack, and the men just seemed to blindly follow the women along. Like, they didn't even ask any questions. They didn't try to inquire. Nazir just sounded like he was just following along, just not even thinking for himself, or he's lying, one of the others, somebody lying, I don't know. Again, this is all allegedly, in my opinion, but I just find that very disturbing, y'all. This is really awkward that they really asked for a driver to go to dinner after Shanquella was pronounced dead. I'm done.
Again, according to the transcript, the group requested a driver to go to dinner. They would never come back to the villa. After seeing this viral video, the employee in the transcript.
After they asked for a driver to go to dinner, they would never come back to the villa. If that's not a consciousness of guilt, I don't know what is. Some people are going to argue, well, their friend just died in that villa. Of course, they're not going to want to go back there. Yeah, you could argue that. But their behavior just sounds way too suspicious, because why did they up and hurry up and leave the country? How come they didn't try to call the parents of Shanquella and try to say, hey, we'll sit here and we'll help. We'll help with whatever we can to just communicate, be one of the translators, whatever we can to talk to the authorities so that the body can be back smoothly. You know, if you want to wire us the money so we can make the payments, whatever. So we know where no, they didn't care about Shanquella. As soon as that body was put into that bag and put into the back of one of them vehicles, y'all, they got the heck out of Dodge. They went to go eat food. They went to go eat dinner after that. Guys, can you imagine? That is some crazy stuff. Your friend just died and you asked an Uber to go to get some food. I don't understand. What is going on with our today's generation? I just don't understand it.
Said, quote, I realized that practically the main guest had manipulated me with the information she provided of what happened to leave the country as soon as possible.
And while the names of those with Robinson have been revealed in these documents, WBTV has chosen not to name them because they are currently not charged with their crime here in the U.S. Now, in the stack of documents is a new autopsy report. As a reminder, back in November, we did first report that Shanquella's family, as you just saw, learned she had a cracked spine. Now, in those documents, there are more injuries we're learning about. I'll have that information coming up on your side tonight with you, Jamie.
Yeah, we'll see you at 7 o'clock, but more detail continues.
And we actually heard those details. So this probably was a video that came before the one we played. Those details was that she had contusions and all those bruises to her pelvis area, and she had burns, like as if they dragged her body. So now we have evidence, guys, how she got her body moved to the next room. They didn't even have the decency to pick her up. That's so messed up, guys. They knew she was okay. If Nazir claims up and down that Shanquella was alive, as he claims, she was responsive, why would they drag their alive friend on the ground like that and give her rug burns and all those burns? They knew she was already dead. So they didn't care how they treated her deceased body, which is why they treated her like she didn't matter. They dragged her body instead of even trying to have the decency to pick her up. Dead weight is very heavy. I know Shanquella is a small young lady, but when a person passes away, they become very heavy with all that dead weight. And they didn't have the decency to pick this woman up. They dragged her body around like that, in my opinion, because how else did she get those drag burns or burn marks on her body? The drag burns are like the kind of burn, when somebody's body's being dragged around. That's what I think. What do y'all think about that? I'm curious about, I haven't even looked at the chat. Y'all, hi, my beautiful people in the chat. Y'all know I got a little emotional. When I talk about Shanquella, I do get emotional. So I need my beautiful subscribers to have mercy on your girl, because this case really gets to my heartstrings, because I know what it feels like to have women that are jealous, who do really mean things, because I've dealt with it my whole entire life. Since I was a youth all the way to my adulthood. Even yesterday, I had the same experience with some girl. It's like every time I turn around, I got to deal with these hating girls. So it's just like I take it personal when I hear about Shanquella's case, because I feel like it was, something I dealt with. And it's so painful because, when you've been through it and you see this girl lose her life over some pure jealousy, and you can see it for what it is. You can see it. People may think, oh, well, you're speculating. Yeah, I'm speculating, but I'm speculating based on my opinion. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Joy. Hi, beautiful. Oh, Joy hasn't seen me get emotional, girl. I'm so sorry, girl. I'm sorry. Joy had to see me in this limelight because she don't ever see me when I get my feelings, girl. This case, this Shanquella case, girl, I think you're kind of new to the channel, my love. But this case really pulls in my heartstrings. So I do get a little emotional when I talk about this young lady, because I just, man, it breaks my heart to know what happened to this girl, because it could have happened to any of us. And I just think of the different experiences I've had in my life when it could have happened to me. But I had that spirit of discernment. And when I felt that jealous spirit, I got the heck out of Dodge. I didn't care what I was doing. I packed my bag. I didn't say a word. And I left those environments, because I've dealt with it so many different times. And it's the most painful thing, because in your mind, I know what she was feeling. She couldn't understand why. Why do they hate me? What did I do? I didn't do anything to deserve this. And it's the most painful position to be in when you don't understand why these people hate you. Why are they being mean to you? Why are they doing these things to you? Why are they talking about you when you've done nothing wrong? And all it is, it's a simple explanation, but in our minds, we don't really understand it. But the simple explanation is jealousy. It's a very evil spirit. It's one of the most evil spirits out there, I say. That's why God says, thou shalt not covet, because covet is a form of jealousy. You want something that you don't think you have, or something you think you're insufficient in some way. So that's a form of jealousy. Covet is. That's why God said, thou shalt not covet, because it can lead to other dark behaviors down the line, which is what led to this case with Shanquella. It is very sad. And when we did the comparison contrast video, when we went over how these women acted when they were all on a trip without Shanquella, and how happy they were, how they were drinking it up, how they were smiling, they were twerking in the pool, y'all, they were having their best life. And then we saw how they acted when they went on the trip with Shanquella, and it was completely, it was like light, it was like day and night, guys. They were so somber on the trip with Shanquella. They didn't even laugh, they didn't smile. They look angry. They look like they didn't want to be there. It's just like, dang. Yeah, Joy Williams, that's my theory. I think they dragged her because of those burns, but y'all tell me what y'all think, because y'all have some great theories too. Could have been essay as well. Girl, Christina, you can't discount that. You can never know, because she was not dressed. Did they kick her when she was already gone? Oh my gosh. Right, Joy Williams. There's more to the story, because in that video, they were hitting her upper body. I didn't see any blows to the pelvis. So where did she get all those contusions to her pelvis, unless they continued, Dejanay allegedly continued to beat this girl once that video went off? It is just like, wow. Wow. Right. Yeah. Ellen said, wow, I remember us speculating spinal injury from video. Yes, we did, Ellen. We did. We came to that conclusion about that. Man. Right. Joy Williams says Shanquella didn't even know how to fight. She has never been in that type of situation. Right. She hasn't, which is why it caught her off guard. She was shocked. I don't think that girl's ever been in a fight in her life. I don't think so. She didn't know how to handle this, because she's never been in that position. She's like more of a pretty girl, pretty girl, live in peace. Don't worry about anything. Happy, good vibes. That's it. Yeah, that was not her circle of friends, Joy. You are right about that, girl. These were his friends, and they used her for the birthday vacay bash. That's what I agree. I agree with you, Joy Williams. Your theory sounds like it's on point, in my humble opinion. I agree with Joy that I think those were not her friends. That was my theory from the beginning, y'all. Hi, Speak Vision. She said, who wrote that? Who wrote what, love? Who wrote the statement? Girl, I don't know. One of the investigators. They said the investigators spoke to the witness that was encountering and interacting with Shanquella and the group of people the night before she died. So that was a man that was actually there. He was one of the workers. He might have even been that guy that we saw in the video that was walking around, probably cooked the taco bar, because I did remember a guy in the video. How he was a worker or whatever he was. Right. Ellen says results seem to be kind of what we speculated, but still so sad to hear this. Right. It is kind of what we speculated, girl. Sounds like it's along the lines, Tomei. Okay. It is. It sounds like it's along the lines, my girl. It do. It sounds like exactly what we were speculating on. Betty Ellick says, Queen Esquire, everyone, how are you doing? Hi, Betty. Hi, my love. All my beautiful people all in one room. I am absolutely happy to see all of you here. Joy Williams says, wow, they were jealous. They took her life because of that. Girl, they will take you out. That's why you have to have a spirit of discernment, because you will come across that spirit if you have not yet come across a person who is jealous of you. I'm telling you, it is the most evil, vile spirit. You don't want to be around it. It is very powerful. And I encountered that yesterday, and it was so evil. The person that I could feel it from. And I tell you, I made sure I separated myself from that person. Anytime she tried to be around me, I walked away from her. I separated myself. I didn't want to be around her. I just made sure I kept myself away from that girl, because that spirit is very evil, but it's very apparent. It's very apparent, and you will feel it. It's not hard to, especially if you're a woman. Women have that powerful spirit of discernment. You'll be able to tell it very, very easily. And I just tell you, if you feel a person's jealous of you, I don't care how close you think the friend is, I would cut that friendship off. I don't play with jealousy. I do not play with jealousy, because that spirit will rear its ugly head eventually. It starts out small, maybe backhanded compliments. Talking about, oh, look, you finally knew how to match today. Your other outfits, girl, I wasn't it, but today you finally knew how to put an outfit together, girl, finally. Or, oh, look, you finally improved on your hair, girl. Your hair was a hot mess the other day, but finally you got a good hairstyle. It's like, it's always, the compliments don't even sound like a compliment. It usually sounds like, they're actually offending you in a way. Right. Like Ellen says, wow, she paid for so much of the trip. Like, wow. Yeah, we still to this day, we don't even know how much she really paid for the trip. So I'm not going to really speculate on that anymore. I know a lot of people say she paid for the full trip, but that was all speculation. And hopefully when we do this video going over Sue Ann's interview that she did, when she debunks a lot of the rumors, I think she might go over that rumor too. Joy Williams Kim says, could you imagine how bad she must have felt? I know, Joy. She paid for this. They treated her like, oh, this breaks my heart. She slept to ease her pain, maybe. That's what I feel, Joy. I feel that's what it was. It was like an emotional exhaustion. Because the thing is, her trip to Cabo was really early in the morning, and she was one of the first people to arrive there. So she would have gotten there like maybe 12 o'clock or so. So she could have had all the time in the world, y'all, if not earlier than that, to take a nap. Why did she all of a sudden? No, she took that nap after they kept rejecting her. She was by herself. Imagine being in a villa all by yourself. Every time you try to interact with a group of people, they're constantly ignoring you. One of those people is supposed to be your friend, and he acting shady too. And you've gone swimming by yourself. You've done all these things by yourself, and none of them want to be around you. Yeah, she was emotionally exhausted, so she just took a nap to sleep off the night. That's what I think. And it's, again, it's just opinion, because I'm putting myself in her shoes, and that's what I would have done. Yeah, she was a cheerleader too. Yes, Betty. She had it all going on. Of course they were jealous. Of course. It's very obvious. Very obvious. PST, ladies, those awful those awful people did this instead of saying thank you for getting the villa. They should have been showering her with love and praise. What the F? Right, girl. Right. But again, we don't know if she paid for the villa. I know a lot of people were saying that, but it was a rumor. I really wish the family would clarify if she paid for the whole villa or not, because the family hasn't confirmed that. And there was so many rumors that came out at the beginning that, I don't know if they're true or not, guys. I really don't. And I don't think we should just say it as it's a fact if we don't know for sure. And the family themselves haven't verified it. I wish she had love. I wish she had love with her when she passed. I know, Joy. I'm so sad that when Shanquella passed away, nobody was there to protect her. The last moments on earth, she was betrayed by everyone. That is the worst way to die. God, this was a human being, guys, that had a soul, that had a heart. And her last moments being betrayed by the person she loved, Khalil. And she said she loved him on a video. And that person she loved betrayed her. That must have been the most pain. I can't even imagine what was in her head. Gosh. That is so sad. Sorry, y'all, almost got my feelings. That's so sad. Ooh, this case really hits me, y'all, guys. Every time I talk about Shanquella, I get in my feelings every time, y'all. So y'all gonna have to forgive a sister. I may be, saying things I shouldn't say, but this story right here, I cover so many stories on this channel, but something about Shanquella's story just, Jesus is Lord. Okay, let's keep going. Joy Williams says, so true. They should have been praising, right? They should have been praising, asking for advice, but girl, they didn't care. They was jealous. Oh my God, they were jealous. Duh, you know, it's just a sad situation. Yeah, she did, like Betty said, she felt very much betrayed. She did. She didn't want to be there. That's why the witness has come out and spoke and said that she was acting weird, like she didn't want to be there. She didn't even smile at him. She was the last person to the table, guys. She did not want to be there anymore. She was unhappy. She felt betrayed. She felt betrayed. She knew about the betrayal of Khalil before she died, before she was attacked. She already knew that he wasn't really on her side, but she played it off. Immature and violent folks always take out the sweet, innocent folks. This story is just frustrating. Right, it is. They always actually, like Ellen said, they always take out the sweet folks. And Shanquella was sweet. I understand this. I was done like this several times. Okay, Sunshine. Hi, Sunshine. It was the grace of God they didn't kill me from jealousy. I had done nothing to them, period. Okay, Sunshine, you get it. Oh my God, Sunshine. You've been exactly where Shanquella has been, and you've dealt with women like this or people like this. Girl, God kept you alive for a reason. He kept you alive for a reason, but y'all cannot play with that spirit of jealousy. You got to get out of that spirit. I don't care how long you've been friends with people. I've been friends with people for several years. And when I saw that jealous spirit, I discontinued the relationship. And they kept begging and begging and begging for me to come back. Girl, these people keep begging years and years later. They are still to this day begging to be my friend. And I will not let them back in my circle because I know they're jealous. And that spirit is very evil and it's a deadly spirit. And I don't play with that spirit. I don't care how many times these women have asked to hang out. I will not, you not going to catch me hanging out with these girls ever, period. Mama Zach said, a period, period, poo. You know, I'm going to play that song because you ain't going to catch me. That's my thing. I play, people be laughing at me when I play that song. Y'all be laughing at me when I play. Guys, I play that song because I mean it. Period, period, poo. Serious. Period. Okay. I'm going to play that song real quick. Because I mean it. Period, period, poo. You're not going to catch me here.
Barbie. Chloe. Period, 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 period. Got my name up in your mouth, you don't know no better. Don't forget I'm from the South, yeah, I got them headers.
Exactly. Period, period, and more periods. Anytime I say period, I'm about to play that. That's my other song for real. You're not going to catch me hanging out with anybody who is jealous because they will take you out of this world. I don't care how long you've been with friends because been friends with them. And I covered a story like this recently, guys. I don't know if you've been on the channel a couple months ago. There was a young lady. She was gorgeous to the nine. Y'all got to watch that video. This girl, she befriended this other girl. They became roommates and they were supposed to be good friends. And so the girl, the pretty girl that her friend was jealous of, basically, she loses her phone. And so she asked her friend to help her find her phone. And the friend who's jealous was like, why are you always losing your phone? You need to look for it. It's over there. And then the friend that's the pretty one was like, where is it? Just tell me where it is. And the girl that's jealous was like, it's over there. And she's like, well, why can't you just tell me where the phone is? Because you said you know where it is. And the girl didn't tell her. And so the girl says the girl who was basically, she eventually finds the phone and she calls the girl a name, the girl that's jealous. She was like, girl, you being mean or whatever. I don't remember what she said. You're doing too much. I don't know what she said. Something she said to the girl. And the girl flipped out. The jealous girl flipped out, got a knife, and started stabbing her friend, the pretty one. I mean, profusely stabbing that girl all over the place. The girl was screaming for her dear life. And the guys, there were other little friends outside. Cabo 6 juniors basically outside of the apartment, didn't do anything about it while this girl was screaming for her life. And then she comes out bleeding, asking them to help her. And they're just looking at her laughing like, what are you talking about? Like, are you serious? Like, and she's like, I just got stabbed. Can you please call 911? Please help. Like it was like Shanquella all over again. So y'all, I'm telling you, that jealousy spirit ain't a joke. It's not. It's not a joke. It's very apparent too. And if you've been through it, you can see it a mile away. I don't care if you even knew the people, you could see that spirit. It's so evident. Like Ellen said, sure enough, jealousy very sketchy. What the F? These brats make me feel so much. What the F? Right. Exactly, Ellen. It just gets you in the feelings, because especially if you've been through it, girl. Yes. Like Betty says, goes to show you jealousy kills. It does. Jealousy is dangerous. I mean, men have killed over jealousy. Look at this case that's going on right now, guys. There's a case going on right now in trial. This man, he didn't want to act right, y'all. He was treating his girlfriend, his baby mama, like a mess. You know, he wouldn't want to live with her. They had separate housing. She wanted a husband. She wanted a house. And she eventually got tired of him and she left him. And so she gets on a dating app and she meets this sweet guy. And y'all know Mr. X got jealous. He started stalking the girl. He put his phone tracker in under the car seat in the car, was tracking this woman's movements. He was having his daughter spy on his ex. Y'all, he went and found out she was dating somebody. Don't you know he brutally murdered that man, and nobody's seen that man's body ever again. That man's body is gone. All they had left at that man's apartment was blood all over the place, on the toys, everything. And the man has kids too. His kids lost a dad, everything, over jealousy. Jealousy. Y'all got to watch that trial. That trial's going on right now. It's a retrial too. That trial is a hot mess over straight jealousy and obsession. Y'all, I'm telling you, jealousy is deadly. I don't care what kind of jealousy. It could be jealousy in a friendship. It could be jealousy in a romantic relationship. It kills. It is very, very violent spirit and emotion, and you don't want to play with that spirit. If you know somebody's jealous, get the heck out of Dodge. I don't care how long you know the person. You better separate and get away from that person immediately. Okay, I'm sorry. I know you want to be so close and keep these friendships, but your life is more important than a friendship that's not really even a friendship in the first place, because the person's jealous of you in the first place, or the person you're in a relationship with and he got jealousy issues or she got jealousy issues. That is not healthy. I'm sorry. It's not healthy. It's just not. Okay. Joy Williams says, I'm so proud of you. You have accomplished so much in your life. I am proud of your love for our Savior. Keep your eyes on the sky. You know he is coming soon. Amen. I love you, Joy. Thank you, my sweet, beloved Joy. I appreciate your sweet words. And yes, I love God. He is the very center and the very focus of my life. He is my heart and my soul. So y'all know I talk about him a lot on here because it's just a natural thing when you have a relationship with somebody. So y'all gonna hear about him. Ellen, she deals with me all the time. She's so patient. I love you, Ellen. Ellen says, what? People losing it, right? Are you kidding me? Girl, yes, Ellen, girl, people are losing it. Have you watched that trial that's going on right now? Girl, it's the whole theme about that case is straight jealousy. He brutally murdered that man. I mean, there was blood all over that place. That man's house was flooded with blood, and that was all that was left at the house. His body is gone. They have not till these years. The poor mom, I feel sad for the poor mom. The mom was on the news talking about she just wants to find her son to give him a nice burial, and they cannot find that man's body for anything, y'all. That man's body is gone. It is so sad. It is so, I feel so sad for his mom, man. And he didn't even deserve it because he just started dating that girl, the ex. He just started dating her. He wasn't even really, they weren't even truly involved. I think they just became exclusive. It was a very new relationship. And this man, this jealous man, the jealous ex who couldn't treat his woman right in the first place, because you know a woman will stick around with a man. You know, women stick around with men even when they're beaten, they stay with a man. So obviously this woman had had enough because he just wasn't acting right. And she had some standards about herself and got the heck out of Dodge. But this man couldn't accept it. And he was jealous. And I told you that spirit of jealousy is deadly. You don't want to deal with that deadly spirit. It is very scary spirit, okay? Because it can build in a person anger, and that anger can fester into violence. That's what makes it so dangerous, is the emotions behind jealousy that fester and it builds up over time, and it can turn into violence, which can then lead to death. And it can come in the forms of even marriages have been destroyed, friendships. That spirit, I'm telling you, don't play with it, y'all. Do not play with it. I know some of y'all are sweet like Shanquella, but I'm telling you, if that was me, let me just tell you how I would have did it. If I would have felt them acting that way, I wouldn't have said a word. I don't say anything. I move with quietness. I would have packed my bags quietly. I would have let them keep the little money I paid for the villa. I don't care. Money doesn't mean anything to me if my life matters more. I would have packed my little bag, not said a word. They wouldn't even know anything because they were in that room by themselves. Yeah, I would have packed my stuff while they're in the room. And I would have left the villa and I would have got me a separate villa. And I would have gotten the heck out of Dodge the next day. I would have took the next flight home and they would have never heard from me again. And I've done that before. It wasn't a trip. I went and hung out with these girls, and one of the girls was acting real rude and sketchy. Anytime I would come around, she would storm off and have a little attitude. And I started noticing a pattern of animosity and meanness towards me. And I was like, wait a minute. And I started looking around at the other girls, and they were acting real standoffish too. And the vibe was completely off, and it was a very powerful apparent animosity, resentment towards me. You know what I did? I took my stuff and left. They didn't even know I left. They didn't even know I left. Girl, like the next day when they saw me at an event, they was like, girl, where'd you go? I was like, I didn't say a word. I never talked to them again. Till this day, I have never said a word anymore, period. They never heard from me. Because that's how I move. I move by the Spirit. And when Holy Spirit tell me something is wrong, I'm out. Because I don't play with my life. You get one life on this earth, and you have to be able to listen to your spirit of discernment, because each of you have that spirit of discernment, and it will speak to you when something's not right, and you need to listen to it, though. The problem is we don't listen. The problem is we kind of are like Shanquella. We kind of ignore our feelings. We like, something's not right. It doesn't feel right. But, I'm just going to go with the flow. And that's where we get caught up, is when we go with the flow. No. You better get up and leave. I'm telling you. Where do you see these trials? Oh, girl, you know what? That's a good question. You know how YouTube is. They just kind of feed you the videos that you normally watch. And I watch a lot of trial stuff because, I'm an attorney. I got to watch all these. I love watching trials and stuff like that. So because I watch all that stuff, it just like suggests the trials to me. So you can watch some of this stuff on, let me see where did they suggest this? They suggest Court TV, all those court channels. What was the one? I don't even remember what it was now, guys. Because it's a new thing they're suggesting now. What is this guy's name? I forgot the man's name. Zachariah Anderson was the guy's name. Yep, that man is a mess. Court TV was I saw some of the clips on there. Law and Crime Network. That's one of my stations. I love me some Law and Crime Network. I love me some Court TV. Those are my favorite ones. That's really the ones I love. I love me some Law and Crime Network. I love that one. If I find any other ones, Joy, I'll let you know, girl. I will let you know. But those are my two main ones that I love. Law and Crime Network is my stuff right there. That's my station. I love that little. Subscribe over there if you like trials, girl. Subscribe over there because I love the trials. Love it. Look, Ellen says you can watch trials with Emily Baker too. Oh, okay, Emily Baker. Okay. We keep talking about jealousy, but what about envy? Yes, the same thing. Jealousy, envy, they kind of are in the same family. I want what you have, scary stuff. Right. So jealousy and envy, they're kind of in the same family tree. So yes, they go hand in hand. I agree with you, Brenda, that yes, jealousy and envy, any of those kind of family tree, coveting, they all kind of go in the same family. So same thing. If anyone's envious of you, they all kind of the similar family. Yes, you need to get out of Dodge. Envy is a very scary one too, because they want what you have. Jealousy is same thing. They want what you have. The reason why they're jealous is because they feel inadequate. They feel a type of inadequate in some area that they feel you are more abundant in. You are more abundant in some area that they feel like they're deficient in, which makes them covet or hate you because you have that or whatever you are, something in you that they feel they're lacking. Okay. And this woman, there's so much, if we want to break down why they were jealous of Shanquella, we can have a whole video on that. That'll take us all day until Jesus come back. But we don't got time for that. But You guys already know. Right. I love hi Asila. Hi, love. Welcome to the chat. She says festering jealousy will cook and turn into rage, evil, bloodlust, murder. Yes, y'all. Yes, that was probably the best summary of jealousy. It's very nice and to the point. I like how she really summarized it. It's true. It does. It cooks. It like cooks and festers, just like you're cooking a meal, y'all. It's like, you know how you simmer something on the stove and you like maybe you making something that simmers over the day until it's done. Well, that's kind of how jealousy is. It just cooks like Asila, her how she describes it. And then that cooking of the jealousy, the emotion turns, it transforms into different emotions. It may start small and then it starts growing into this tree of rage, anger, and then it boils over into this bloodlust, like Asila says, and the next thing you know, somebody's dead. They lose sight of rationality, which is why I said it's a deadly feeling. And if you can feel and discern someone is jealous of you, I wouldn't even bat an eye. I would get out of there. Oh, great. They put the suggestions in the chat. Thanks, Ellen. Ellen put Law and Crime Channel. Adela said Court TV. Thanks, y'all. You guys are helping our family out. I love you, how sweet and helpful you guys are. I have the best subscribers in the whole world. I just love all of you guys so much. You guys are my family. Just promise y'all stay with me because y'all know I'll be connected with y'all and I'll be missing y'all. Y'all got to stay with me, okay? Brenda said that's what it was with my aunt. She so desperately wanted to lose weight, but wouldn't do anything about it. I had my surgery 20 years ago. Oh, and wow, you had yours 20 years ago, Joy, and you're still snatched. Dang, you had a good doctor, girl. You got to suggest your doctor. I might have to go when I get, I'm snatched now, but when I eventually get unsnatched, as people age, they start loosening up. Girl, I'm going to need your doctor, girl. Let me know who your doctor was. Because you have a good doctor if you had your surgery 20 years ago and you're still snatched. Wow. That's a good doctor because I've seen some people, girl, after a few years, they starting to look a little rough around the edges, okay? The snatching is no longer snatched. But you, Joy, you had a good doctor. I need to know who your doctor is, girl. Help a sister out. I love you, Christine. Oh, my gosh, Christine. Christine was here. We love you, girl. We love everybody. We love y'all. All right. Let's see. I was listening. You described Zach Anderson. I'm watching. Oh, you're watching it too, Gianna? Oh my God, y'all gotta watch that trial. Watch Zach Anderson. That trial was a trip. Oh my gosh, it's been going on for was it going on for a few weeks now or something like that? I don't know. But y'all need to go back and watch that trial is crazy. And the kid had to testify because he was using his kid as a spy. Poor kid had to be involved in all this. She didn't deserve all this because her dad is sick and deranged. He using his own daughter to spy on his ex. I didn't lost it when I heard about that. That is crazy. And the way this man, his facial expressions in this trial is a hot mess. He's over here clutching his, pinching his lips shut when he's looking at his daughter, like he's trying to tell her to be quiet and don't testify. I'm like, I didn't heard it all. I didn't seen it all. I didn't see it all with the Zachariah Anderson, man. He is a hot mess. Oh, Joy Williams says she misses aunt so much. We were so close. I broke the chain of violence and chain my family's last name. Oh, we chose my uncle's first name, William. He said, add an S so people don't call you Happy Bill. I know. I bet you miss your aunt so much, Joy. That is sad, man. When that spirit gets on people, it just can break up so many beautiful families and relationships. And it is a heartbreaking situation. Dang. And she said, I lost my aunt and uncle because my aunt couldn't handle my weight loss. I lost 300 pounds. She felt uncomfortable being around me, so she never wanted to see me or my children again. She was jealous. Yeah, that sounds like she was jealous, Joy. That's very obvious. She was so jealous because you became so beautiful and snatched. That is so sad. Yeah, family members will do that to you, y'all. When I won my big title, because I won a title of my dreams, my mom and my sister and all of them became jealous. And when I became an attorney, man, my sister and brother, they got so jealous and they started just distancing themselves from me and talking about me so negatively. And so I lost pretty much all my family after I became successful. You know, one of the celebrities told me before, they said, it's very lonely at the top. Man, that woman was right. It is, because you start losing people close to you. Look what happened to Joy. You know, she got, something she loved. You know, she got her surgery and lost all this weight, was looking beautiful and snatched. And her own family members couldn't handle this wonderful, great blessing that happened to her. That is so heartbreaking, because you want to be a part of your family. Oh man. Oh, Marie Phillips, is she talking about Khalil? Yeah, Khalil, girl. Khalil is a mess. Khalil is a mess, girl. Marie, he is just. He's one of those people you want to avoid. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, if y'all are into trial, I would look up that Zachariah case that's going on right now. It's crazy. Ellen says, I love Ellen. She be giving so much great points. Girl, you are just such a woman of wisdom, Ellen. She said, if you feel jealous, it means you need to do some reflection, prayer, and meditation. It's a sign to refine. It is. That is so true. If you're feeling jealousy, yes, she's right. You need to go and just really spend time with prayer and just work on yourself, because that's an evil spirit. I hate that spirit. I remember I had one time I felt a spirit of jealousy, and it consumed me, guys. It was all consuming, and it was so toxic, and it made me feel unhappy. And I was like, I need to get out of this spirit. I went to go in my prayer closet. I had to isolate myself and work on that, because it's a very, oh my God, it's a very toxic feeling to feel jealous. You don't want that feeling. I don't want to ever feel jealous again. That feeling, it makes you act a certain way towards people when you shouldn't be that way. You know, you might be a sweet, kind person, but when you jealousy spirit get over you, you can start finding yourself acting catty, having an attitude with people, this person that you're jealous of, when the person did nothing wrong to you. They'd probably be the sweetest person in the world, like Shanquella was. And you over here got a stank attitude because you're jealous. So like Ellen said, it's like, if you feeling that kind of way, you need to go back in your closet. You need to pray, and you need to work on yourself. Because I don't like that feeling. I do not like that feeling of jealousy. Woo! Oh, yeah, so she going to sleep. Good night, Joy. Y'all know I talk too much. Good night, my love. She said, have a great night. I'm so glad I found you. Wish we could sit and have a cup of tea. Oh, me too. Not the doctor, but my willpower. Eat healthy. I'm trying to drink more water. Drink your water. Amen. I'm about to drink some water right now. I'm about to get off this live. I love y'all so much. I know you love and respect her, Joy. I know you do, sweetie. You doing all you can, girl. I know you probably look incredible, Joy. You probably do. I bet you do. You got a good doctor, girl. Oh my gosh. Have you so snapped? Okay, snatched, just looking beautiful. Yeah, be my older sister. Yeah, I need some family. Y'all don't have to be my family, because I done lost everybody after I became successful, y'all. I did. My mom got jealous. She didn't even want me to go to school, y'all. During all the times I was in school, my mom would call and cuss me out on the phone and try to distract me so I couldn't study in school, y'all. It was a hot mess because she was jealous. Can you believe it? My own mom was jealous. That is some crazy stuff. I would have never thought a parent would be jealous of their child. That was the weirdest stuff. And I couldn't seem to accept it. You know, I was, so young and gullible at the time. I didn't want to believe that my own mom. It doesn't even make sense, right? The mom that gave you birth is jealous of their own daughter. Like, that didn't even make sense. But it come out that she was. She was so jealous because she felt like her daughter was doing better than her. She didn't want her daughter to outdo her and go to school and get an education. Y'all, it's a sad, sad, sad situation. But you know what? I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I'm happy as ever, positive as you could get. I'll wake up happy, because you can't let those type of things get you down. You just got to use your discernment to separate yourself, unfortunately, from those people. I know you love them, but even your own family members will take you out because of jealousy. They will take you out of this world for jealousy. Yes, your own family members, your own mama, your own cousin will take you out of this world. So sometimes it's as painful as it is, like Joy Williams said, sometimes you got to separate yourself from your own blood. That is sad, y'all. That is a very sad thing. It does hurt us, Scylla. It does, girl. It does. But you know what? Life is life. It will deal you some interesting experiences, and we got to learn to rise above it. because otherwise we'll just willow away and be sad. Oh, Ellen says, unfortunately, moms get jealous. Not that uncommon. Really, Ellen? Girl, I wish I knew you back then, girl, because I could not seem to accept that my mom was jealous. I kept denying it all over the years until I finally realized it. I had all these people around me telling me, your mom's jealous. I was like, no, she is not. That is so weird. Why would a parent be jealous of the kid they had birthed? I mean, she brought me to the world. Why would she be jealous of her own kid? That's weird. I'm like her creation, basically. But everybody kept telling me that. Now I just kept, arguing with them like, no, that's not true. That's not true. Until finally it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, she's really jealous. This is weird. Like when I had my law school graduation, there's a photo, guys. It's crazy. The photo, it's very telling. She's in the picture and she's looking at me and she has the most evil stare. Like I have my cap and gown on. I just graduated law school, about to study the bar and everything. And my mom is in the photo looking at me like she wanted to kill me, y'all. She had the most evil, sinister stare. And she was staring at me. And whoever took the picture inadvertently caught her facial expression, y'all. Caught her facial expression while she was staring at me with this straight anger on her face. And I was just grinning, happy because I just graduated law school. And I was so happy, not knowing my mom was right next to me, looking at me with the most evil stare you would ever imagine. I couldn't believe it. I looked at the picture later on. I was like, what? I did not know my mom was looking at me like that. It was very crazy, y'all. It was. I didn't realize my mom was jealous until after I became an attorney. But that whole time, while I was in school, while I was going to college, all that, she just never wanted me to be anything, y'all. Never, never, never. Oh, look, Stasho Lame says some people can identify with me. Thank y'all for helping us out. Stasho Lame says, I believe it because my mother don't like me either. People are weirdos. Girl, oh man. Are you a guy or a girl? Sorry. Sir or ma'am. Sir, yeah, I can understand. Woo, thank you for helping a sister out. Ellen says, well, at least I'm here to say in my best mom voice. I love you, Ellen. You are too precious. You just have the cutest voice too. I just love your voice. When I first heard your voice on the live, I'm like, oh, she's so adorable. I love Ellen. I just love her. She says, congratulations. Good job. You graduated law school. Dang, you're amazing. Oh, thanks, Mom. I'm just kidding, Ellen. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, girl. I'm just kidding. Jeremiah 29:11. I love that scripture. It says, I held on that. This scripture gave me strength. It does. Please look it up. Yeah, girl, I know about that scripture. I know that Bible inside and out. Y'all know I read that Bible from beginning to the end several times. 29:11. That is my scripture. Yes. For I know the plans. Yes. I have for you, says the Lord. Yep, that scripture right there. That is one of the very milestone foundational scriptures that you want to know for sure. Everybody should know that scripture. That's a good one. Because when you're feeling depressed and down, you look at that scripture will remind you that God already had a plan for your life and there is a purpose for your life to be here. And you are not an accident, y'all. You are not an accident. Okay. All right, guys. Oh, I love y'all. Y'all so supportive, man. Where y'all been all my life? I wish I would have met y'all years ago. Y'all should have subscribed years ago. Where y'all been at? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. I got to go. I'm going to bed. I kept y'all up too late, and I know y'all got to go to work, too. I love y'all. Toodaloo, my beautiful family.